kids at a certain level of education before sending them to school. Again, it goes back to how we define education. We define education as success in Africa. Not for bad, but we should not define education as the only tool to success. There are some other skills that are more of education, but not more of the Western education that we can instill into our kids as parents. So to this, I'm again trying to bring in some narrative of us taking the whole responsibility of nurturing our kids up to a certain level. To me, I don't have children yet, but I'm planning to raise my children to the age of 5 years before sending them to school. Because by then, they will have learned more of the community, they will have learned more of the values that are additional to their further studies, and they will have learned a lot from it. So, in summary, the curriculum are actually making our community excluded from the way we should be actually nurturing the kids. Number two, we need to involve ourselves. Much as the curriculum are designed in such a manner, we as stakeholders, as community, we need to come in, we need to come in and invest, we need to come in and not only send our kids to school to attain certificates, but nurture them to who we want them to be. By this I mean teach them basic things that they need to learn at home, teach them who they are supposed to be, and teach them what they're supposed to be in the future. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, brother Josiah. I've been struggling with the internet, and the internet doesn't want us to share anything. But thank God that I'm able to share something now. And maybe to put something across, I think you have already say all of them. And maybe what I can say, maybe like for the community, maybe to involve in education. First of all, the community need to mentor the youth. The community need to encourage the peer learning, right? Where like the student themselves or the pupils need to learn by themselves, by the peers, maybe in the community. If there's a community, let me just say, for example, in my community, maybe in Bor, maybe the community like that is within there need to encourage the peer learning, where the student maybe who are in the school came back to the community and learn together. Because when students learn together, there's these things when maybe like you are learning from a teacher and we are learning from your fellow. Actually, it is very easy for you to learn something and even to have something because you normally stay together and it is very easy for you to understand something compared to some like some scenarios where maybe like the student fear to maybe ask questions to the lecturers because of lack of confidence. So I think that the community need to encourage the fear learning. Also, they need to also mentor the youth, the young girl, the young boys. They need mentorship because I do believe that at the young age, you need mentorship a lot because there's something that you don't know that you can do, knowing that they are good, but they're not. But that is the role of the community. Maybe the community need to do that. Again, the community need to motivate the student. When maybe I'm in a community where they're not like they don't motivate like the student. Maybe they say that you can never do this in your life. You're such a weak this. Those things actually they affect our brains and they also affect our success. In some way that maybe someone may say that for me, I've been listening to those, but I was successful. Yes, in that case, I can agree with him or I can agree with her. But at some point, when the community is not encouraging and motivating, sometimes it becomes challenging to the student and to the pupils that are learning. So we need, as the community, to embrace the spirit of motivation, be able to motivate the student. Like let's say, for example, when we used to be in the village, we go to school and we are motivated. When you get this position, you are given this. Do you know how we read? We don't read maybe to fast, but we read to make something so that we can get what have been promised to us. So what I want to mean is that we need to be motivational to the kids or to the students that are learning in the school. And as also a community, we have a role we play in education. Uh, education is it's not a matter of being in school. There's also community education, where we need also to educate our kids on the cultures and the norms of the community. When your education is rooted in your culture, it is very easy for you to innovate. It is very easy for you to come up with the discipline. Actually, education is not about having a paper, as I said before. It is a discipline, right? How you're able to, align the education with the community, the challenges in your community. How you're able to align them. That is what defines education. Being able to solve the problem. And solving the problem, you don't solve the problem that are in the bush. You solve the problem that are in the community. And that is also the role of community, to nurture the kids or the students in a way that they will be able to think on how they can be able to solve the problem that in their communities, how they can be able to come up with the solution that align with the interests of their communities. But when you're someone who doesn't know about the community, honestly, it is very hard for you coming up with a solution that can be able to address the community problem. And it cannot be your fault, but it can be the fault of the community that you were raised in. But as maybe I'm going to conclude, I can say that for us to be successful in the school, like me, myself, who is a student, we need the support from the community. The community need to motivate us. The community need to mentor us. And the community need also to give us the space where we can be able to share our ideas. I think that is what I can say regarding that question. And the much has been said by Brother Josiah. And the network has been struggling with us. We are sorry for that. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you for everything that guys have been saying. I have a last question for us to wrap up and continue with other activities. So, you have said and raised complaints, how you think things should be done, how you think curriculums should be adjusted. So, what should be done after all? That's the question. Because you see, we still have the problem of resources. We want to adjust the curriculum. But if we see our resources, we barely even have good roads or good shares. So you see, what do you need, or do you think should be done? That's the last question. And we shall start from Josiah. And then we conclude. Thank you.
Thank you so much, that you understand. I want to appreciate you once again for hosting us. And I want to appreciate Brother NTL for actually having given his insight into this important discussion. And for Brother Guy, I want to apologize for disturbing. We would actually wished to have listened from him. But network at that time is not on our side. And we pray next time he'll be around. Actually, to me, I want to again go back into these three key points that we're talking about before giving my last point. Education as a main source of career. Actually, after getting an education, what is next? This is a question that one can ask. There are so many people struggling outside there. They are bachelor holders, they are master's holders, they are PhD holders, but still struggling with life, that you understand. Is that actually reasonable? It does not make sense. So from my view, education should not end with a certificate. It should translate into practical skill, entrepreneurship, as Brother DNT said before, innovation, and self-reliance. We need to think more and more deeper about what we can do, how we can change our lives after education. So education should not be more of certification. It should be more of these practical skills, how we put them into action, more of entrepreneurship. Today, everything is turning into businesses. Even the field of medicine today is more of entrepreneurship. So we need to be much more self-reliant. Here in Africa, too many graduates are left jobless because system focus more on theory than on application than they talked about. So I want to see education prepare us to create jobs, not to seek them. There's difference between creating job and seeking job. And one thing is very common today in Africa, especially in the country where I came from. We are job seekers. We are not job creators. This is not what actually we want. We want an education that actually nurture us or prepare us into people that are going to be job creators, not job seekers. Actually, salary, job is The definition of job or the acronym of job is just overbroke. You're employed, you earn in your $1,000 that cannot actually help you for the whole month, and that is just overbroke job. So we need to actually nurture students that are going to be job creators, not job seekers. Roles of the lesson covered in the school. Actually, we've learned a lot. There are so many roles. Actually, the NTL said before, they create in us the essence of creativity, the numeracy, the literacy, and actually adding values into ourselves. And again, the question comes back to dependence on curriculum provided in the school. Right now, we are mostly dependent on a colonial style curriculum. We need to localize them, as you asked in the second last question. We need to localize our curriculum, tie them to our cultures, industries, and economic needs while still benefiting from global knowledge. We need not to stop the geographies of the Switzerland, but we need to again tie them or tie our curriculum into our cultures, that's number one, into our industries, that's number two, into our economic needs. What do we need today in Africa? Do we need herbalists? Do we need dentists? Do we need a student that are going to study atomic engineer? Or what importance is atomic engineer in South Sudan? It is of no importance. So we need to actually look into those things, and we need to look into how we can change this. How does community contribute into successful individuals? Actually, there are so many roles that community plays. And I said before, the environment a person grows up shape their mindset, confidence, and opportunities. So supportive communities nurture talent, the entire talk of report, bringing fears together, they nurture themselves, call for community involvement through community initiatives, nurture these kids. They actually support nurturing of talent, mentorship, and resilience. Knowing what to contribute as a community is very important. As Theon said, it's very important. We need to know what to contribute. Community should invest in youth by offering guidance. The NTL talked of this. We need to guide these students. We need to be role models. We need to be skill centers. We need to be centers of skill, nurturing these kids into whom they want to be. We need to be mentors. We need to mentor them. We need to bring kids that are going to be exposed, number one, into our community needs and into global needs. Actually, in conclusion, before concluding, I would want to say currently we are not producing graduates that are more of who they should be, but we're producing those that will satisfy at the end of the day. So we need to look into this very essential tool that is our curriculum. We need to rethink of what to do into making this curriculum one of the important part of our education. So in my perspective, actually to conclude it, I value education as a foundation for Africa's future, which all of us does, but I believe we must revolutionize it. We must think, we must act, we must do something. Linking lesson to skills. We must link all other lessons that we give, as they talked before of an entrepreneur lecturer that doesn't have a business. We need not to be doing such. We need to link our lesson to skills. We need to align our curriculum to our economy. We need to empower communities to nurture success. So up to this point, I would wish to end this at Johnson. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Thank you, Brother
Yeah.
Josiah. It was really, really nice, a nice space. But due to network, we were facing some challenges. But thank God that we are able now to at least come to the common ground and maybe share our viewpoint. Now, maybe like to maybe put few point across before I conclude. Uh, I would say that education is the foundation for building careers, but it is not the only things, right, that can make us succeed. It is not enough on its own. What I want to say that to someone who might be watching this video, who might have come across it, I want to say that success comes when the schools, the communities, and the individuals work together. That is what success means. A school without community, without individual, is not success. But success is a combination of a school, working with the community, and the individuals, which are the students like ourselves. Again, we need to structure like to provide the structured knowledge. Maybe the schools, this one is going to schools. You need to structure the knowledge that you are giving to the student. As Josiah said, today you had from morning to evening this lecturer saying, if you don't study hard, you will not get job. Right? That is the common word that we hear in the school. If you don't study hard, you will not get job. If you don't get good grade, you will not get job. So I don't mean like getting job is bad, but we need also to focus on entrepreneurship, being able to be problem solvers, being able to be critical thinkers. So that's what I can say on behalf of the school. And to communities, I think communities need to offer support, mentorship, and real world exposure. They need to mentor like the students, because each and every student who is in the world has the community, and each and every problem that is addressing the world problem today started with the community, starting solving the community problem. Then later on it extend to the world. So we need to be collaborative with our students, support them, mentor them, and give them the resources, the space, as he said. Like for example, in Rwanda, there are some initiatives that are given to the youth to enhance like innovations. Like there's some program where the youth came up with the ideas and the pitch and they get money. So these things actually encourage innovation in Africa. And I also encourage other countries maybe to embrace, like to embrace that. Like for example, in Rwanda, maybe as a youth, if you came up with the idea, you register it free of charge. They don't charge you money. So that is what Africa need to adapt, being able to encourage youth, because having an idea without money, I think maybe the system restricts you to use money to register your idea. I think the idea can die if you don't have that money to register it. But if the system encourages innovation, like the system of Rwanda, then I think they can be very good for the African to innovate and maybe to come up with a solution. And I must not stick to school and communities. I will also go to individuals. Individual must keep learning and adapting to new opportunities. Again, for me to get opportunity doesn't need a community to apply for me. You need to learn a skill, because as a software engineer now, I can never get maybe a business, a job without the skill. So you need to learn, keep learning the skills. And you also need to take advantage of the opportunities around you. I think that is what I can say to the individuals. And for African education and curriculum, we need to focus on the curriculum that matches the economy, entrepreneurship, and a graduate that might be thinking of coming up with the problem, like solving the problem when he graduated. That is the system that we want. And to the stakeholders involved, I would say we need to align our curriculum to the economy. Our economy being able to be problem solvers, but not job seekers. That's what I can say to the Africa at large. And maybe in short, I can say that education lights the pace, but the community and continuous learning drive us to the success. Thank you for that, and really, really happy. And at this juncture, I can maybe give it to Emmanuel to give a remark. It's so sorry, his remark. We have been struggling with network, but I think that is it, and that is my conclusion. Thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
so
Thank you
much.
so much, everyone. Maybe Guy can take a little moment to give his own insights. This good discussion was so good, so nice, but he didn't get the chance to speak anything. So maybe you can,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's unfortunate that I missed most of the discussions. Um, my environment was not really good, and therefore my internet was not stable. But I'm happy that you're discussing education, and it's one of the things that I believe needs to be improved at, especially in Africa. Um, Briefly, I would say what I had in heart maybe to share in this forum But therefore, in kind of a summary, because I think we are done already, right? So I think there is need uh, for us, the students, and of course, everything begins with you, and then it can also proceed to the next level of maybe stakeholders. But as the students, we need to know what we need and to take the initiative of getting the right education. Because I believe whatever we discuss here might not go as far as helping us uh, in our current pursuits. If in case we succeed in any way to influence policy making, it might be to the benefit of maybe our children or those that will come after us. But to us who are the students of today, it's upon us to see what we can do in order to better learn and overcome the challenges of our system. We know that our system trains us to only think after the initial thinkers. By this I mean we are taught concepts that were built and developed by people long ago, and we are taught to repeat them exactly the way they are. Otherwise, you don't pass. Like when a teacher sets an exam, he asks you to repeat everything like he or she told you the way he or she told it, or the way it's in the textbooks. So it doesn't give you room for constructive criticism and also for uh, being a critical thinker. It doesn't give you room to think outside the box and maybe innovate in a way that you develop something new that might not be prescribed yet by the curriculum, but is actually important and can be to the benefit of the society. So that's one thing that I think we, the students, can improve at. Then the second is that whatever field you're studying in, we all know you will need someone in another field. For example, a medical doctor among us, Josiah, he will definitely need a computer scientist in his life or in his professional life. For that reason, it's preferable to to know things that are not even in your profession. I mean, if I am a medical doctor, it is very advantageous to my own cause to learn stuff that are in entrepreneurship or to learn stuff in computing and other things. So I believe general education is better than specialty. Of course, to be a specialist is good, especially in medical fields, because you will have to do that very well and actually invest time to know it and do it to your very best. But otherwise, I would say it's better to have general knowledge, to have bits of knowledge in every aspect of life. That's what I believe. And then finally, it's like to do with our system of education that only focus on building our mental faculties and forgetting our physical, spiritual, and social faculties of life. That's really a challenge to our African education and even in the West. Most of the Western curriculum focuses on building your mental faculties, but definitely fall short of building your social network or your social life with people. And it also fails to nurture your spirituality, which is a very important component or aspect of life, and also your physical life. So I believe this is a matter of policy advocacy, and maybe with time things can change to our advantage. But for now, I would say do what you can do to make the best of this broken system, to build your own self, build your own future, and forge life for yourself and perhaps for your children. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you for everyone for attending and following up with and every discussion that we've been having. I would like to take over to take this conversation to the end, and also please, these policymakers, future generation, you have now the loopholes to tackle to fulfill in. I would like to extend this part of conclusion to Dan to conclude for us as the founder of LearnLink, Learn and Link. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Celestine, for the time again, and to my brothers who have committed their time and be able to share the insight, and that is the mission of this platform, being able to share our knowledge, being able to inspire our brothers, being able to empower them in whichever way we can. Thank you guys. I think it was not that good because we have been struggling with other things, but I think the next one, since we will be doing it in twice in a month, I think it will be better than this. And yeah, I think for now we can call it a day, and God bless all of us. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much.